This is Scott Spears, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Scott Spears Now, and this is a very special edition because we've got one of our new friends of the station here with us today, and during the midway point of this episode, the halfway mark, you are going to get to see this man's brand new music video. It is going to be something to be sure. And in the second half of this episode, you're going to get to hear some live music from this CD and some other songs possibly, depending on what Chad chooses. The CD is It's About Time. Chad Clark is the artist. Chad, so glad to have you here today. Always good to be with you. And things seem to be going very well for you right now.
Well, thanks for having me, Scott. It's a pleasure.
Chad, Labor Day weekend was a few weeks ago. Tell people how you spent Labor Day weekend and some of the luminaries that you met of the country music world.
Well, Labor Day weekend, I had the honor to be able to kick off the show at the Country Legends concert over in West Liberty, Ohio. And that particular day, they had Shenandoah, which is a great group from the 90s. They had Lone Star, another super group from the 90s. Sarah Evans was there. She's phenomenal. And at the end of the night, it was Trace Adkins. So I got to hang out backstage with some royalty from country music. So that was pretty cool.
Chad, there seems to be three different stages of country music. There's the old, I think what they would call probably country and western music, Hank Williams, that era. And then there was an era in the 80s that you saw Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers have their major hits. And then the 90s came in and you really saw Garth Brooks and Reba McEntire and a whole era there. And now we've got the Taylor Swift era. Where do you think your music falls?
That's kind of hard for me to judge that, Scott, because I don't really try to put myself in any genre per se, but I would think that I probably fit in more with the 90s style of country as opposed to more of the pop country of today. But it's probably my age that puts me there, but yeah, I'm probably more of a 90s style country guy.
Are you surprised at the mesh that has happened between pop music and country music in, let's say, the last 15, 20 years?
Absolutely. And actually it goes back to when you were talking about the 80s with Dolly and Kenny Rogers, Islands in the Stream, written by Barry Gibb, a disco king basically. And that was the start of country really going onto the pop charts too. And that's what you got now with Taylor Swift. She started out country, now she's one of the biggest pop stars in the world.
There was that whole era, and Willie is probably the only one still with us, but the Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, Hank Williams, that whole era, Charlie Pride, a lot of those people lived a long, long time. Willie Nelson, I believe, is 90 now, in his 90s. But that generation seemed to get pushed off of radio in the 80s and 90s. Why do you think that was?
Well, in the late 90s, that Napster started the streaming wars, and there was a lot of smaller labels in Nashville that got swallowed up by the bigger labels. So we lost a lot of independent labels that gave music more of a variety than there is today. You got probably less than 30 major labels right now that dictates what you hear on the radio. So that's the way it works with terrestrial radio. But in the last 3 years, something new has happened, and it's the streaming world out there. And that's what I'm doing. I don't have a major label, but yet I have an audience now that's listening to my music. You've got people like Sturgill Simpson. If you've heard of him, he started out just doing internet stuff. You got people like Zach Bryan, who's making a huge splash. Next spring, I believe, at the Shoe in Columbus, the country music concert is going to be Zach Bryan and people that are really not radio friendly right now, because radio only plays the music of the major labels. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I think about, I mean, you have a CD here, and it's great to get autographed, and it's great to show on a television program like that, or this, It's About Time. But if people wanted to hear the songs on here, what is most likely the best way they would go about doing that?
Spotify, iTunes. You know, you can download the whole CD on iTunes cheaper than I can sell the hard copy. So,
is it still nice though to have the CD?
Well, some people enjoy it, but to be honest with you, when they do buy my CD at my shows, they want me to autograph it, and I think it becomes a memento to them. I really don't think that the younger generation, and I've said this before, in 5 to 6 years, those might be obsolete because everybody's streaming now.
It is. It's interesting how things have progressed, but we've also seen the return of vinyl, and I think a lot of that has to do with collectibles.
Yeah.
Having something you can keep in your house, get autographed.
You can physically hold it. It's got the pictures. You know, when you download my CD, you don't get all the pictures. You don't get the physical thing you can hold in your hand.
Now, for those of you who might not be familiar with you, how did this whole thing start?
Oh, well, it really started when I was a small child. My family was from southern Ohio. Jackson County is where my family's from. And I just grew up around music. I mean, every family reunion, every wedding reception, you know, down there from Chillicothe South, bluegrass is a way of life. You know, you can like rock and roll music, you can like country music, but bluegrass is a third religion down there. Everybody likes bluegrass, and it's one of those things that just drew me in as a young child.
Now, when did you first perform in front of a group?
First time I performed in front of a live audience, I was 15 years old.
What was that experience like? Stage fright?
Well, I still get nervous.
Still get that. Yeah.
Sometimes I get nervous, yeah.
I think that's a good sign, though. I think that gets everything moving before you go out.
Yeah. I don't really want to be complacent at it. You know, I want to have those jitters a little bit to let me know that it's still important to me.
Tell me about the songwriting process.
Now, that is very strange because every songwriter that I have met, and you know, I've been going down to Nashville for quite a while now, and I know a lot of great songwriters down there. Everybody has their own process. And there's actually, you know, groups down there that get together. Hey, at 3 o'clock, we're going to go to this room together. We're going to write a song. That particularly is not my style. I just kind of have to be in the mood, and I pick up the guitar, and sometimes within a half an hour, one of the songs on that CD can happen.
Now, I know these are probably all like your children here, but is there one that you... The lyrics speak best for you, your favorite lyrical song?
Oh, once again, it's hard for me to pick because they're all my children. Like you said, you know, even the songs that might not be as popular as other songs, I still have a place in my heart for those.
Do you have a favorite song to perform?
Of my own music?
Of your own music.
Of my own music. That's another tough one. It's probably a couple that's not on this CD that's going to be on my next CD. I have some upbeat music. This particular CD is mostly ballads, but that's country music, you know. The joke is cry in your beer type country, and that's kind of what this CD is. It's more, you know, you sit back and put it on and listen, and it's not a party type CD. But yeah, I got some upbeat tunes that I enjoy performing live.
When will your next CD be out?
We're going to try to get into the studio in the spring, so it probably won't be out until next summer.
Also a big show in 2024 coming up at the Palace.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah, I get to play the Palace Theater here in Marion, and I've played there several times opening up for national acts, but this is the first time I get to headline the Palace in my hometown, so it's one of the most beautiful theaters in our state, you know.
Now let people know the date, and tickets are on sale now, are they not?
Yeah, you can get tickets now, and it's going to be April 6th of 2024, and that is the weekend before the big solar eclipse that's happening. I don't know if people's heard about that, but basically on April 8th, we're going to have a solar eclipse, and Marion happens to be in the hot zone. We're going to have over 4 minutes of total darkness. So people that are into that sort of thing are going to flood the area because of the prime location that we're having, and we just thought that, hey, this would be a good opportunity the weekend before to have a concert at the Palace. It's not just me, I'm headlining the show, but we got Kyle Fields out of Nashville. He's going to come up. He's one of my friends. We actually played in Waldo a couple years together. We got Lee Gant out of Columbus, Ohio. He's going to open up the show. So it's going to be a great thing. And I'm really proud that I get to headline the Palace, because like I said, I've played there many times, opening up for other people, but never headlining.
If you could write the rest of your career at this point, what would you like to happen?
Well, I think at my age, I'm not really going to be a nationwide recording artist. Although I'm getting offers to go out west and play music in different venues out there, I think that what I would enjoy is just to be a regional artist, you know. And when I say regional, if you put a dot in Marion and drew a 5-hour line around that circle, I would like to be able to play in that circle, yeah.
You know, a lot of people play their favorite pubs or bars or clubs on the weekend. And I think people kind of know what that money is like. In 2023, to perform outside the state, you know, without being too personal, what are the offers like?
Well, you know, to play in bars, you don't make any money.
Right.
I mean, the equipment and the time spent and all that, you don't even break even. Okay, that's just the reality of the situation. When I was younger, there was people in Marion that used to play locally for a living. You know, we had probably 20 music venues back in the 80s and early 90s that does not even exist today. I'm talking about bars and clubs that are just gone. Back then, you played music every Friday and Saturday night at these locations. Now that's down to maybe once or twice a month. And these establishments, I understand, can't afford to pay bands like they once did because their clientele isn't what it once was. But I'm trying to do like fairs, festivals, theaters like the Palace Theater. So is it a good living right now? Probably not in some people's eyes, but it could be.
If you get an offer, say, from somewhere out west, is it a lucrative offer where it would be financially rewarding?
Right now, the offers that I got has been for, you know, like $2,000, $3,000, even $4,000 to play one night, which seems like a lot of money. But when you have musicians, you have hotel rooms, you have expenses to go out there. Right now, that type of money would just be breaking even.
And I think people don't realize that. They hear $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for one night, and they say, "Wow, that's great." But how big is your band that you travel? What do you have to travel with?
Well, I like to travel with a 5-piece band behind me, and you know, they're professionals and they expect to be paid, you know, their worth. And I certainly try to do that, you know what I'm saying? They deserve more than what I give them, to be honest with you. So it's something that a lot of people don't think about. You have sound, you have lighting, you have all that overhead sometimes too. Some venues provide that, some don't. So
we talked, you worked a regular job for most of your life, and then you came into this because of an early retirement offer. What is the difference between doing that job, we'll say a 9-to-5 job, and this job? What's the biggest difference?
Well, to me, this is a passion, so it isn't a job. You know, when you love to do something, it isn't work. Whether I make a dime or not, I would still do it. So, and I have.
Now how do you explain that to young people? Because this is something that's hard to explain. That, you know, you have a job because everybody's got to make some money to pay their bills. You got to pay your bills.
You got to pay the bills.
But in life, you only get one. That sometimes you have a passion that you would do for free. Now, if they pay you, that's great, but you would still do it for free. How do you explain that to the next generation of musicians or anybody in a creative endeavor?
It's just got to be something that you love to do, and compensation is secondary. I can't really explain it, but like I said, if I didn't make a dime at this, I would still try to play music.
It's very interesting. You worked in your job for how long?
30 years.
30 years. 30 years at that job, but when you go 100 years from now, people will probably be more inclined to remember you from a CD you put out or a song that's out there.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. Now, isn't that interesting? The
That
thing
is
that you spent most of your life
Yes.
doing and got paid probably more to do at the time
absolutely.
will not be the thing that
I'm known for.
what you're
right.
known for.
Yeah, that's kind of odd, but back to what you said, you got to do what you got to do to pay the bills. And my job that I had, although I took it serious and I was a good employee and worked there for 30 years, got a good retirement. I worked for a major telephone company, and it was a good career, and it helped me raise my son. It wasn't a passion. It wasn't something that I got up every morning and said, boy, I can't wait to go fix these telephones.
Right. There's
Can't wait to climb these poles in the 20-degree weather this morning.
And if you had gotten to the end of your life and not explored this and just had that experience, would that have been a regret?
Absolutely. And that is some advice that I try to give my son: leave no regrets. He actually got to play college football, and that's something I never got to do. So if there's ever an opportunity to do something that you love to do, take that branch and run with it.
Do it. And money is not the most important thing in life.
No.
Yeah. Now, it's very interesting because one song on here, One Fifth at a Time, became your first music video, which at the halfway mark here, we're going to play this music video for you. But tell people how this came to be, why this was your first music video. And again, you're going to see this here in just a few minutes.
Well, I picked that song because I wanted to take a song off of the CD where I could incorporate a lot of local people and kind of show my hometown and what it's all about. And I thought that song kind of was able to do that. Got some great sponsorship. The Shovel City Drinkery right here in Marion, Andrea and Derek Mullins, they were more than gracious and opened up on their night off. It was normally closed on a Monday night, and they let me come in there with my video crew, and everybody in there. In the video, it looks like a normal night at the bar, but it wasn't a normal night. Everybody knew that they were on a sound stage. There was a lot of redos. I think we shot for 3 hours. The song's 4 minutes and 27 seconds. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to do it because I wanted to pick something that Marion could be involved in.
When people see the video here in just a few minutes, what is the story of this video that you hope they get? The story of this song, One Fifth at a Time.
Well, the basis of the song is a gentleman that probably spends too much time drinking, too much time at the bar, doesn't even realize that he's ignoring the love of his life, and then she has had enough, she leaves him, and then that's when he realizes what he lost.
When you were writing this song, is that the story you were writing?
It evolved into that, yeah.
Does the video match the initial thought when the writing process started on the song?
Probably not the very initial, but as the song grew, and all the verses were put into place, I think the video does tell a story, and that becomes a little bit of a dilemma for a songwriter. And if you've ever listened to guys like Chris Christopherson or Bob Dylan or some of those super greats out there, when videos first became available, they did not like that because they want the public to draw their own pictures in their mind of that song. A song can mean different things to different people, and once you put that video out there, then it puts a visual to the words, and you know what I'm saying? It pigeonholes it a little bit.
It does. And when you first saw the video in its final product, what'd you think?
When I actually just seen a rough draft and was blown away because I didn't expect it to be that good, to be honest with you. I didn't expect it to actually tell a story like that. Now, there's different types of music videos. There's videos like we're going to see, 1/5 at a time, and it's more of like an acting type situation. There's also what I call performance videos. That's where you see the artist just kind of singing the song with some nice backgrounds and stuff. So this particular song wasn't really a performance video, even though I'm singing in it. It was more telling the story of the song.
What was it like to act?
For me, very strange. I'm not an actor. I never really done that before. But I had a great co-star, Jacqueline Chevalier, and she started acting, which allowed me to expand my abilities. So I'm just really shocked that it turned out as well as it did, and I'm really proud of the final outcome.
When you look at everything on the whole, what has been the best part lately? You've got the CD, you've got the songs on Spotify, you've got the music video. What's been the best part?
Oh, to me, still the best part of all of that is performing live. I love to perform live. It's what I've done since I was a teenager. So that's still the thing that I enjoy most.
When you go out now, is there any difference than when you started going out? Now that you have a music video, you have, how many downloads on Spotify?
3.5 million.
3.5 million. Millions of downloads on Spotify. Is it a different experience to go out now and perform than it was prior to that?
Yes, it's a different experience just to go to the grocery store. I mean, I have total strangers approach me, and that's awesome.
What is that like for somebody who, as you say, worked a regular job for 30 years? This was kind of on the back burner, and now here you go. People are recognizing you in the grocery store.
It's fulfilling, you know. It's good to know that people appreciate what I've done. You know, it's just, I see it as appreciation.
When you are writing, much like people I hear who write books, sometimes they can get writer's block. Do you ever start something and then just cannot come up with the right...
Oh, yeah, I got plenty of scraps of paper at home. Yeah. Pieces of songs. And sometimes it takes 6 months for those pieces to come together and be built into a song. And then there's other times I sit down on the couch and in a half an hour I have a finished product.
Why do you think that is? Why do some songs just write themselves in 30 minutes, and why are some still just scraps of paper?
Boy, it's really a mystery to me, Scott. I really have no way of knowing that formula. But I wish I did.
Is it hard? Is it hard to put the music with the words?
Sometimes. And my process, and like I said, everybody's got a different process, but I tend to like to write the music and the lyrics together because I can play the guitar. So I sit on the couch, strum a melody, and put it together simultaneously.
You've opened for several famous acts. You've played with several famous acts. Is there somebody who is your favorite?
Oh, I have a lot of favorites. Well, just a couple weeks ago, I was totally blown away by Sara Evans. What a phenomenal singer she is. Marty Raybon, the lead singer of Shenandoah, you know, what a great personality he is. He always takes time to shake hands with the fans and stuff. So that teaches you a little bit of how to be humble. Yeah, there's so many that over the years I've opened up for Tammy Wynette. She was incredible, you know, in the Hall of Fame. I opened up for Charlie Daniels, another Hall of Famer. So yeah, I've had the opportunity to brush elbows with real pros and people that's kind of woven the fabric of American music.
What songs do you go to when you want to listen to something?
Whoa. You know, I'm a fan of rock and roll too. I really enjoy 70s and 80s rock. That's my era. But in country music, I still got to lean towards the Hank Jr., the Waylon Jennings, the outlaw sound. That turned me on as a teenager. But then I'll even go back and I'm a big George Jones fan. I'm a big Merle Haggard fan. I've got that in my blood. So I guess for me, I don't even want to call them legends because these are icons. I'm into the icons.
How did you, when you were first starting, how did you fall into country music as opposed to rock and roll or jazz or pop?
Well, as a teenager, I did like rock and roll and Bob Seger and even into the 80s you had your Quiet Riots and those type of rock bands. I was into all that stuff too. But I think the outlaw movement kind of drew me back to my country roots, and we're talking about Hank Williams Jr., Waylon Jennings, even a lot of your southern rockers like Leonard Skinner, Marshall Tucker Band, Blackfoot, all of those type of bands, the Outlaws. I enjoyed that kind of music, the southern rock.
When you're putting together a CD, let's start. How many songs have you written in your career, would you say?
Probably 300.
300. So putting together
That's
CDs.
just a stat.
I mean, probably more. 300 plus songs, and you're putting together a CD for Spotify that has to have 8. How do you choose the 8?
That was a little bit tough, but the way this really materialized was the summer of 2022. I wrote a song on there, and I believe it's the first song called Break the Spell, and it's about a single mother. And I played it for some friends, and one of my friends said, "Man, you need to put that on TikTok." And I'm like, "What's TikTok? What is that?" I don't didn't have a clue. I'd heard of it, didn't know what it was. I'm like, I don't dance. Well, they're like, hey, there's not just dance moves on TikTok. Some people put songs on TikTok. So I sat in a room with my acoustic and just did the song without a band and put it on TikTok. And within like 2 or 3 weeks, I had 38,000 hits. So that's when I decided, hey, I've got these other songs. Maybe I should go and do a CD. So that materialized. I went and did this CD and picked the songs that I had written more recently, not some of my older stuff, but there is a couple on here that are older. But I picked 8 songs that mostly were newer songs that I had written. And from there, that's when it took off. I got 3.5 million on Spotify, and it's just been growing. I had a CD release party in Nashville at Jason Aldean's, which was phenomenal. And, it's just been taken off from there. So then I thought the next logical step is let's do a video.
The title of the CD here, It's About Time. Now that seems there might be some meaning behind that title.
Well, the meaning is it's about time that I do one on my own. I have done CDs in the past, but it's always been in a band setting. Because like I said, I've played music since I was a teenager, and obviously I'm not a young man, so I've done this for a few years. But I was like you said, I worked a 9-to-5 job through the week and did it on weekends. So now I have the opportunity to take it up a notch.
Had this happened in your 20s rather than at the age you are now, would it have meant something different?
I think I appreciate it more now. I really do. I think that I'm a better songwriter now at my age than I would have been back then, although I do have songs from my 20s and 30s that are good songs. One of the songs on this CD, and I won't tell you which one it is, I probably wrote that when I was 36, 37 years old. So it's not a new song, and a lot of people have heard it over the years in lots of the bands that I was in. But mostly what we did back in those days was cover music. We played other people's music, thrown in a couple originals here and there, but it was mainly cover songs.
All right, well, the CD, and you can get it on Spotify, It's About Time, Chad Clark. Right now, you're going to see the video 1/5 at a time, and when we come back, we're going to have Chad and his guitar and an acoustic performance of some of these great tunes, and maybe some other tunes. He'll pick what he's going to perform. Back with Chad Clark after you take a look at this great new music video.
wake up with whiskey on my breath, wishing she still loved me, 'cause I love her to death. She's gotta leave it, weighing on her mind. I'm losing her by fractions, 1/5 at a time. I can't believe you're willing to walk away. Ain't nothing I can do, nothing I can say. You thought it through. You're leaving me behind. I'm losing her by fractions, 1/5 at a time. And that bottle falls right down from that top shelf, and my glass seems to get filled all by itself. I hope you get what you're looking to find, losing her by fractions, 1/5 at a time. As the ice melts, wonder what went wrong. Deep down inside, I've known all along. I just never thought of you as the hurting kind. I'm losing her by fractions, 1/5 at a time. And that bottle falls right down from that top shelf, and my glass seems to get filled all by itself. I hope you get what you're looking to find, losing her by fractions, 1/5 at a time. Top shelf, and my glass seems to get filled all by itself. I hope you get what you're looking to find, losing her by fractions, 1/5 at a time.
Hey, Scott Spears back with you here on Scott Spears Now. What a great video that was, 1/5 at a time, Chad Clark's debut new music video. That is great, Chad. And for people who saw that, if they want to watch it again, of course they can watch it on the replay of this episode, but they can also go to YouTube and get that.
It's on YouTube. It's also on my Facebook page, Chad Clark Music.
Perfect. And check that out. Now we're going to have a real show here for the bottom half of the program. Chad has got his guitar, acoustic performances of some great songs here. Chad, which song do we have first here?
We're going to do Break the Spell, the #1 track.
The reason for the debut of this CD, It's About Time, which you can get on Spotify. Break the Spell, Chad Clark, here on Scott Spears Now.
Baby is crying and she's only 19. Texas storm. Her daddy calls her princess to this day, but her fairy tale is fading away. No one to cry to, no one to tell, no prince to kiss her, break the spell. In a tiny old trailer that leaks in the rain, she rocks her baby just to ease the pain. Giving up is something that she can't do. She's not living for one, now she's living for two. Her daddy calls her princess to this day, but her fairy tale is fading away. No one to cry to, no one to tell, no prince to kiss her, break the spell. Her daddy calls her princess to this day, but her fairy tale is fading away. No one to cry to, no one to tell, no prince to kiss her, break the spell. Her baby is crying and she's only 19. Just 2 years ago she was a homecoming queen.
Very, very, very nice.
Thank you.
Chad Clark, Break the Spell, #1 track on the CD. It's About Time, which you can get on Spotify. Now, Chad, that's the song that started it all. What is that song about for people out there? To you, what does it mean to you?
That's just about the struggles of a single mother.
And why? Did you have a single mother?
No.
So that's just totally improv from the mind.
Fictitious, yes.
Fictitious. now, is it easier to write a fictitious song or a factual song?
You know, all you have to have is observations. You don't necessarily have to live it yourself, but you can observe things around you, and I think that you can write about that.
I think you're exactly right. What do we got next here, Chad?
Well, let's try to do another one here that is not on the CD, if I can bring it up here.
Sure. Again, the CD is It's About Time. You can get this on Spotify. And the music video, which you just saw 1/5 at a time, YouTube, Chad's Facebook page, check it out. Chad Clark. You want to check out these things and see the ascension.
Next Friday, not this coming Friday, but the 29th of September, I'll be at the All-American Quarter Horse Congress in Columbus performing.
Very nice.
So that's a big deal down there. If anybody's ever been, it's incredible to see those animals. It's one of the largest, now let me get this right, single breed horse show in North America.
Very nice.
So it's kind of a big deal. We're going to play down there with my full band next Friday, so that'll be the 29th, and it'll be at the Hitching Post, which is a venue that's near the Celeste Center. This is held at the Ohio Expo Center down in Columbus. So,
and what time will you be there?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock on the Friday the
So
29th.
come down, everybody, and check it out.
Hey, we're with Chad Clark here. Again, the CD is It's About Time, and now we've got track number 7 off this CD. Go to Spotify, you can get all these songs, but we're going to have the live performance here. Acoustic version, Sad Songs.
Mama said, better come home quick. Don't look good. Daddy's awful sick. So I called me a plane, went to his bed. I held his hand. This was all he said. When I die, don't play those sad songs. Don't you cry, not a single tear. 'Cause I've lived a good life, though I've seen a bit of sorrow. You know I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't even want to try. Then he closed his eyes to fight back the pain. He turned his head and he faded away. Finally he broke away from life's heavy chain. And I can still hear him like it was yesterday. And when I die, don't play those sad songs. Don't you cry, not a single tear. 'Cause I've lived a good life, though I've seen a bit of sorrow. You know I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't even want to try. With the hands of time, I think I finally understand the words of wisdom from an old dying man. Live each day like it's your last. Look for tomorrow, never dwell on the past. And when I die, don't play those sad songs. Don't you cry, not a single tear. 'Cause I've lived a good life, though I've seen a bit of sorrow. You know I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't even want to try. No, I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't even want to try.
Very nice. Sad Songs off the CD, It's About Time. Now, Chad, interestingly enough, obviously that is a more melancholy song, but at your funeral, are they going to be playing sad songs, or have you hit it all?
I hope that they play sad songs, yeah.
You want them to play sad songs?
I would like them to play sad songs, yeah.
Oh,
Because that's how I feel about it, you know. I've lived a good life.
but no sad songs for you.
No sad songs for me. Play that song.
Play that song.
Yeah, that talks about not playing sad songs and realizing that, hey, I had a good run.
You know what's interesting, Chad, and I love this CD because the one song I like on here, maybe more than the others, is Deep Hollow Road. It's a tremendous song. How did that come to be?
Well, that's an interesting song because I got a friend, and it's an actual place. There is a town in Athens County called Coolville, Ohio, and I thought that was made up when I first heard about it, but no, there is a Coolville, Ohio, and I got a buddy that has a place down there, and it's sort of a hunting cabin, a weekend getaway type place. So that's how that song came about, you know, me going down there and hanging out with him at his hunting cabin.
Now, do we got any Deep Hollow Road here today?
You want to hear?
You knew that was coming. Yeah. Good, great song. And again, this is off the CD. It's About Time. And again, check this out on Spotify. And of course, the music video that you saw earlier, Chad's First, 1/5 at a Time, can be gotten on YouTube earlier on in this episode and on your Facebook page.
Do you want an exclusive?
Oh, yes, give it to us.
The exclusive is that October 20th, I'm going down to Deep Hollow Road to shoot a video. about
Really?
the song. So yeah, this will be my third video actually, because I did a video on sad songs also. But yeah, this will be the third video, and it should be out probably first part of November.
And you shot the video for Sad Songs.
Sad Songs is actually on YouTube, and it's a performance video, just me and my guitar, what you kind of
right.
seen. But you'll hear the band, of course, because it's taken off of the CD.
Now, the Deep Hollow Road video, will that be more you just singing or an actual story, like the 1/5 at a Time?
It's going to be a combination is what I have in my head right now. It's going to show me singing some. I think there's parts of the song that you'll hear that we're definitely going to be sitting around the campfire and some of that's going to be in the song here. But yeah, we got some ideas. Of course, we haven't shot it yet, but we got some ideas.
Now, do you have any idea of, is there going to be anybody in the video who we've seen before?
Well, yeah, there's a couple people that was in 1/5 at a Time that'll be in this video because they hang out down there with me and my buddy. So we're hoping to get those people back into this one too. So
Beautiful. Here it is, Deep Hollow Road. About Time.
sometimes life gets you down. Walking along, it turns you around. Need a place to blow off some steam. But he's got what you don't want to be. Where the black tide ends and it turns to stone. Good place to be gone. Ain't got no signal on my cell phone. If you need a place to forget life's heavy load, Deep Hollow Road. Right out front's fire ring. Couple of guitars and we're mixing to sing. Passing around the PBR. place to forget life's heavy load. Deep Hollow Road. Where the blacktop ends and it turns to stone. Good place to be gone. Ain't got no signal on my cell phone. It would be a place to forget life's heavy load. Deep Hollow Road.
Deep Hollow Road off Chad Clark's CD. It's About Time, and again, you can get that on Spotify. You know, I'm looking in the room as that song's being performed, Chad, and it brought smiles to people's faces. That song does that. It's just got that, something about it. And it'll be on a music video. It'll be a music video.
And hopefully the video will put smiles on people's faces too.
And we'll put one on mine, Chad. And I'm available if you need me that day. I'll show up. But no, it's a great song. It's terrific, and we were so glad we were able to have that here on the live production portion of this particular episode. When you perform a song like that, Chad, is it different than a sadder song? Performing a sadder song?
Yeah.
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 What's the big difference for a performer?
You know, it's more energetic. You tend to make it upbeat inside. You know, a sad song, you want to draw that sadness out so it projects to the audience. This is one that you don't really want that reaction, so...
Now that, would you say on this CD of songs that you said were mostly melancholy, is that the upbeat?
That's probably the most upbeat song on this particular CD.
How did that make it onto the CD of mostly melancholy songs?
Because I needed one upbeat.
You needed one upbeat?
At least one. You know, I should have put more, to be honest with you. But yeah, once I started putting the CD together, I realized, hey, this is pretty dark. So I need something that kind of will put a smile on people's faces too.
And something else I want to mention, if you do get the CD, there's a picture of Chad here in front of a bridge, and I know this bridge very well, in Upper Sandusky.
That is in Wyandotte County, yes.
Yeah, and that is a great bridge. I know a lot of people get graduation pictures there, prom pictures. It's a road that's not traveled a whole lot, so you can get out and take pictures.
It's a rural country road and a beautiful original bridge. I believe it's called the Parker Covered Bridge, and it's in Wyandotte County, not far from the Indian Mill, if you know where the Indian Mill is.
Chad, I want to hear another song here. What is another one that strikes you here today that you'd like to perform?
Well, let's look.
Let's take a look here. What do we got?
Let's take a look and see what we're going to do here. Let's do the third track.
The third track, They Live On. Now, again, does this, I believe this one kind of circles around death again. Which really shouldn't be a sad thing in life. You know, we all live.
Well, you know, it's one of those things that we all experience, you know.
We'll all get there one day.
Loved ones, and eventually we're all going to experience it ourselves, so.
And you know, I think we did it. Now, this is an interesting song, because I believe... Was it this one or Sad Songs? When Chad and I did our first radio show together, live radio show, a caller calls in, and the grandmother of the caller had died the day before. And they called in, they were listening, and said, was it this song or Sad Songs?
I think it was Sad Songs.
Sad Songs had gotten them through the previous night, the death of their grandmother. And I thought, this is something that can only happen on radio and could only happen with music. What did that moment mean for you? Totally unexpected.
Choked me up, you know, because that's what you're looking for as a songwriter, to move people and to, you know, spark emotions. And apparently I did.
To know that you helped somebody, not even knowing it that previous night, that you helped somebody through the loss of their grandmother, obviously somebody very beloved in their life. What does that mean to you?
Well, it means a lot, you know, that my words could actually get them through a tough time.
It's really a gift that I think only music can do in a way.
I believe that too, yeah, because I have songs that I like to listen to when I'm sad. So, yeah, it was an honor that she said that.
It was a great moment. Chad Clark, it's about time. Track number 3, They Live On.
Down a country road, out across the lake. Last ride that my family will ever take. To a white church, sitting on a hill. Far off in the distance, you hear a southern whippoorwill. And I stood there Sunday best, teardrops in my eyes. Now that I'm older, I know one thing is true. People that mean something never leave you, 'cause they live on deep in your heart, way down inside of you. Their soul is a part of who you are. What you're gonna be. Sometimes late at night, they're all you can see, 'cause they live on. As the years burn, my beard is turning gray. My mind drifts back in time to yesterday. And the smile creep across my face. Thinking about something funny said, feeling a warm embrace, 'cause they live on. Heart, way down inside of you. Their soul is a part of who you are. What you're gonna be. Sometimes late at night, they're all you can see, 'cause they live on. Way down inside of you, their soul is a part of who you are. What you're gonna be. Sometimes late at night, they're all you can see, 'cause they live on. They live on. They live on. They live on.
They Live On, the CD. Again, it's about time. And again, go to Spotify and you can check out all Chad's stuff. Chad, is it still fun to play acoustically the guitar performance, or does it ever become, I have to do this again?
No, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Do you have any regrets as you look back at your life?
Don't we all?
I think we all do. I don't know if
think
we all
we all
admit
do,
them,
kinda.
but I think some of it, yeah.
You know, one of my big regrets was probably not taking a shot at this when I was younger, you know, and I took the safe road and got the job and had the family and all that stuff. But things could have been different maybe if I would have took the shot when I was younger.
Do you wish you'd taken the shot now?
I used to think, yes, I missed out on a lot, but now that I'm older and I'm doing this now, it's fulfilling what I'm doing now.
Do you have a philosophy by which you live by?
Boy, that's tough.
Well, I think all songwriters in some way are philosophers,
Well,
especially songwriters.
I try to live by the golden rule. I try to treat people as I want to be treated, one of those type of things. But yeah, that's about it.
When you look back, was there somebody in your life, a parent, an aunt, an uncle, a friend, who inspired you in any way?
Oh, I've had lots of people. You mean musically?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've had lots of musical inspirations over time. A lot of them aren't here anymore, but they're the ones when I were younger that got me interested in it.
We talked about a lot of these songs, one actually called Sad Songs, being sadder songs. What makes you cry? What makes you sad?
Typical things, loss of a loved one, that's a big one. Whether it be death or just divorce or just anything like that. That's one that, just anything to stir emotions.
Do you believe that something happens when we do leave the building for the last time?
I am probably not super religious, but I am spiritual, and I do believe that there is a bigger, better place for us all. Yeah.
So we all end up.
We all end up somewhere, yes.
When we look back at the whole picture, how do you see your life up to this point? We talked about how you'd like to see the rest of it. How's it been so far?
There's not a lot that I would want to change, to be honest with you. I mean, I've had my ups and downs like anybody else has had in life, but sometimes as you get older, you learn from those low points.
What was the lowest low and how did you overcome it? That's something that's people want to know because it gives them hope.
Well, a lot of people out there has been in my situation. I was divorced. I had a son. There's a lot of fathers that are in my situation that kind of just walk away because of the pain, but I stuck it out. I raised my son, and proud that I did that.
Good football player.
Good football player, and he loves me to death, and I love him.
Now that brings a tear to your eye.
A little bit.
Yeah, well, that's understandable. Again, the CD is It's About Time, Chad Clark, and again, you can get the songs on Spotify. Also, the music videos out there, go to YouTube. You saw it earlier on in this episode. You can also get that on Chad's Facebook page. The second video, Sad Songs, is also available on YouTube. And there'll be a recording, or a filming, I guess we should say, of Deep Hollow Road, that great song you heard just moments ago, coming up in October. And on September 29th, you'll be performing in Columbus. Chad, finish this sentence. Chad Clark is.
Chad Clark is a good songwriter.
There you go. Not bad at all. Leave us with a song, Chad, here today.
Another one?
Yeah, I know. It just keeps on going here on the show. We got time for another one, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. We got time for one more here. And you've got to check these all out because they're on Spotify and they're great. And we thank Chad for coming on the program today, and we're going to wrap up today's episode with a song that's going to entertain you, to be sure. Here we go, Chad Clark. Hey, and we just got out in time. Chad Clark, it's about time. Chad, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. It is always fun. Thank you, my friend. Chad Clark, you're going to hear more from him without question. Scott Spears heading for the dugout.